All right, welcome to the Daily Dirt with Dustin Diggs. I'm excited about this podcast. My friend Clayton's here, but we got Jules Horst here with Breathless. This is her new book, and we're going to have a little book club here, folks. So we're going to be talking about our book. Julie, what got you into writing?
Writing has always been like therapy for me. You know, like you get those feelings out, and then once you've done the writing, you feel a little better, you know. This book is not based on personal experiences. I do not believe in people, mermen, you know. Yeah,
so let's get, because you were telling me about the book before we did the podcast, so kind of do a pitch to the audience what the book's about.
Okay. Breathless is a romance novel about a woman who goes on a cruise to get some writing done, and she gets pulled overboard by mermen, and she goes on this wild adventure. She eventually joins their society, and she tries to bridge the gap between people and merpeople. They want to save the ocean and the environment. They want to get together and make the world a better place.
So most of the story probably happens underwater in like an underwater world. Okay. Yep. It kind of reminds me of Mermaid, Splash.
Oh yeah,
Splash, what she says.
Tom Hanks, one of his first movies.
Daryl Hannah, Young and Hot.
So John Candy,
You're not from Missouri. You're from Florida. When did this idea kind of come to you about like this adventure?
Actually, I wrote it when I lived in Buffalo. It was super snowy and miserable, and I wanted to write about the most warm, tropical place I could imagine. So I was like, mermaids, yeah.
But like, I always wonder how like an idea like that happens. So you didn't watch like a show, or you seen something where you're flashing back on a memory being at the beach. I mean, how did the idea just come to mind?
I grew up reading romance novels. My mom and I were both big fans, and they're kind of formulaic. You know what's going to happen at the end. You know, there are no romance novels with like sad endings.
What's some of the romance novels that you love reading? Like, when it comes to mind.
I read all the Harlequin brand romance novels. Those are the ones that are like really thin, like this one takes you one afternoon maybe. But they all have like the same themes. It's like girl falls in love with her boss who's a lawyer or a dentist or something. And, you know, there's always like one conflict. It's like, oh, we can't get together because you don't like eggs or whatever.
Or you're with this person that's a bad guy.
Right. You know, and usually just like 5 minutes of communication would fix it all. And then at the end, they get together and the magic happens.
You know, I believe in your early years, you were around a lot of these romance novels at your home, weren't you?
Yeah. So probably shouldn't have been reading them when I was that young, but I learned a lot.
I mean, I just want to interject for a moment. In case the audience doesn't know today, Julie is one of my best and longest held friends. I've known her since high school.
Fact.
So we went to school in Florida together, and she's up here in Missouri now. And I just thought this was a great opportunity to bring her on Matt's show today. So.
Yeah,
I have stories about this man if you want them.
Yeah, a lot of stories about you.
That's the after show.
That is true.
She did say that you talked her into moving to Missouri. So how could you talk to somebody that lives in Florida to move to Missouri? I mean, how did you pitch that?
Well, they don't have these wonderful trees and rivers like we have up here. I mean, you know, it's down there, it's all these scrawny trees and beaches and scantily clad people.
Beaches, ew.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you know, you can't have a proper Ren Fair in a place like Florida. You got to have
because it's too hot. Everybody's melting and all those layers. Yeah.
So, I mean, people don't just want to go to Florida. I mean, it's the dream, but when you get there, you're like, you know what? It wasn't so bad back home. So, you know.
So you've been writing for your whole, like, since you're a kid, right? So what is, and this is the first book you published, right?
Yes, the first official. Yeah.
So I always wonder, because I know artists like that make films and make like music, and what was it about this story that like all the other stories you wrote that you want to push this out and share this with the world? It
was finished. It was complete.
Oh, okay. That
it has a beginning, middle, and end. That was the major thing. I wrote this a long time ago and just sat on it and did nothing with it. And then during COVID, I was like, this is my COVID project. I'm going to get it finished. I'm going to get it out there. And now I feel like there's going to be a lot more. I didn't know how easy it was going to be. The whole process of self-publishing, like, it's so simple. I'm like, anyone can do this, So, there's more books on the way.
Right.
The next one's about vampires.
Vampires?
Yes, it's not a sequel. It's totally different world.
Okay. That sounds interesting.
I mean, vampires and mermaids, mer people.
Yeah, she has a theme.
Getting into cross.
Definitely trying to
war.
escape from the real world with these books,
Right. Well, thank God for COVID, right? For you to be able to finish your book.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Everybody's got their COVID passion project.
Well, I wish I had that. I sat on my ass and watched Netflix and Tiger King. No.
Oh,
But
man.
Tiger King's amazing. So
That is amazing. Yeah. I want to see more
I got
of that.
sucked in immediately.
I did too. Well, I think that's what makes such a great story is characters and just talk about the characters in this book and what type of characters are in this book.
Well, the author who is the main character who gets pulled overboard by the mer people, she's just kind of a Mary Jane, she's everybody. She's just a normal person going on a wacky adventure. But the merman she falls in love with is a prince. His name is Prince Graem. He's in charge of the mer people, and he has a lot of conflict with his own people. They don't want to get in touch with the humans. They're like, the humans are garbage. Why do you want to unite our two worlds? Yeah. But he sees the potential in us,
And Clay, you read this book. Tell us your review on it.
Oh, I
know you got to say nice things.
I mean, she's my friend, but beyond that, I love it because I like her style. It just seems to be unique, I don't know. I mean, I don't read a lot of mermaid romance novels. I mean, this is the first, like I said, believe it or not. But she's got a very creative way of writing and very humorous. So, I thought it was a pretty delightful book, really.
Thank you.
I haven't read a lot of fiction in a long time, but it didn't drag like some of these other books where you're like, oh, I just got to finish this thing and get it out of my hands because I started it.
Right.
It's like binge watching a show that you're like, well, now I got to finish it. But no, Julie, I know she's always written, and I knew with how well she's really funny and entertaining and. Can make people laugh a lot. Yeah. I knew that she'd be great at putting a book out that people could read. So.
Well, she was telling me before the podcast that she watched the STL Live show that we do, the comedy show, and then she wants to do some acting comedy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So she probably brings a lot of that kind of humor with some of the characters and stuff that you read.
Oh,
right?
yeah. She'd be great.
It's just funny subject material. Like, writing about sex is funny to start with because sex is ridiculous, and there are so many euphemisms you can use for a penis. You could.
Yeah.
And all the romance novels use the same words over and over, and you've got to try to put your own spin on it and make it realistic too. Like, you don't want to take people out of the moment by saying something goofy. Like, how does mermaid sex even work? Like a merman.
Yeah. Well, that was interesting how you kind of put it in the book. I was like, yeah.
I did no research.
Oh, how would you do the research?
Yeah, I mean, what do you find on the internet?
Like what does a fish dick look like? I don't know.
I know what a fish stick looks like, but not a fish dick.
And fish balls? I mean, is there fish balls?
There have to be.
In a romance novel, what do they say? Like the guy thrust something. What do they use for
throbbing member? That is the most popular phrase. Yeah. It's not sexy. I guess the throbbing part, I don't know.
It sounds like it hurts.
Like you hit your thumb with a hammer.
Right.
Yeah. Throbbing member. That's the most popular.
Then what's I'll read the book, but what's verbiage in here for?
I don't remember. I think I just went with dick.
Okay.
Probably. I tried to just the shortest word.
It got kind of raw a little bit in there, but it was.
There has to be some sex, or it's not a romance novel.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So, let's say this was made into a movie. Because I'm a visual person. Who would play the lead characters, and then. Do you think about that? Do you think of when you write a book? Do you think of if it was a movie? Because that's
one of my friends who is a raving fan. She was like, "Here's my dream cast if this was a movie," and I took her suggestions, and I was like, wow, that's not what I had in my head at all.
Well, what were they? You remember?
Well, they were all a lot older actors. Like Judi Dench was in there, and I'm like, don't see her in there anywhere.
What
about Clooney? Yeah, Clooney. Yeah,
acceptable. Yeah.
He could be the prince.
I mean, I was just picturing standard bland white dude. You know, he's gonna be blue-eyed, blonde Fabio type, probably.
Up and coming stars.
Okay.
Yeah, preferably a no name.
A no name?
You don't want anybody super familiar in the role of the mermaid prince, because this role is going to define him.
Right. Like 50 Shades of Grey.
This is his Harry Potter. You know, like everyone's going to think of him as Prince Graem after this.
Right. When you're writing a book like, because this is a short book, do you feel like you could have made it longer, but just you kind of you knew when it was over, like the story? I
just kind of tried to keep the flow going naturally. You know, like there's a lot of action, you know, there's some sort of violent parts in there, you know, but I just tried to make it like if you were telling the story to a friend, you know, like a narrative, like this is what happened, here's my crazy story, you know.
When you're writing,
it could have been longer, sure.
When you're writing, what's the toughest things that you overcome? Is writing action? Because when I do a screenplay, like action's really tough to write out. Do you find that harder to write, or the sex scenes, or like the dialogue scenes? Or like what?
Honestly, for me, the hardest thing is plot. Like I feel like I'm good at conversations. I think I can make that happen and setting the scene pretty naturally. But what are they gonna do? You know, like I can have them have a beautiful conversation in a cafe for 20 minutes, but then what? You know, like coming up with a really compelling plot is hard, I think.
What do you think? Have you ever tried to attempt to write a story?
Oh, man. No, I'm usually I'm spread thin so many different things. I haven't been able to focus really on one.
Can I talk about your writing at all?
Yeah. Well, yeah, sure. Yeah. I would say I hear your take.
So wait, you do have writing out there?
Oh yeah. In high school, he was a big writer.
Yeah, she's seen some of my works. I used to like throw it at people, like, here, read this in high school. Yeah.
Well, it was like poetry. You know, he would write about his philosophy, his thoughts, and I loved it. I thought it was great. But yeah, it's not like a narrative. It's not just like a standard story.
It's some broken thoughts, pretty much. Never made it to the internet, so we'll just say
You ever reread any of that stuff?
Yeah, or whatever. I mean, when I dig through my old boxes of whatnot and find it and you read a few lines, and I'm like, oh man, where was I then? And I'm like thinking, man, I don't know. I mean, it seems like a different person back then. You know, I guess that's what happens through life. You know. But,
Yep. Time changes us all.
Yeah. So you read, you wrote this during COVID. What's some other stories have you read? So you've written about mermaids. We got vampires on the way, folks. What's some other? I feel like you're kind of a fantasy writer kind of deal.
I have another novel that's maybe 30 pages in that's time travel related. Some Viking dudes get dropped in our time period, and they're just like, what are we doing? How do we survive? We can't just stab our way through all of our problems, you know? We've got to get driver's licenses and stuff. Ew.
They probably wouldn't do good with the Me Too, and they probably wouldn't treat women very nice. Yeah.
They think they do, though. Right. They think they're really progressive, but they get in trouble all the time.
That sounds like an interesting plot, though. Yeah, because like I said, a Viking cannot just kill his way out of his issues in this modern day society.
You know, or I mean, he can, but not for very long. You know, that's a short book.
Well, there'd be a scene like he walks into a bar, almost like in Terminator, and people be like,
"Yeah, it doesn't." That scene was cut really short. Yeah.
What's some like movies and stuff that inspired you to be a writer? Like just when you're younger.
I don't know. I've just literally been writing since I was in kindergarten. I don't know if you're familiar. There are these kids' books, Amelia Bedelia.
I know Green Eggs and Ham. I know that.
Okay. Same time period, I guess.
Yeah.
But there was an author named Peggy Parrish who wrote these great kids' books about this goofy character. She was a serving girl, and the people that she worked for, they would give her instructions, and she would do what they asked, but do it totally wrong. Like she would misinterpret the words.
Oh, okay.
You know, and that was always the humor. And as a kid, you'd read that and you'd be like, oh, it's so droll, you know. Like, oh, they told her to ice the fish and she put icing on the fish, you know. But I got to meet her when I was a kid, and that was really encouraging to me. Like, she read my little story and she was like, I want you to keep writing. And, you know, she was a sweet lady.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I don't think I ever heard that. But, I mean, it's probably what's kept you going to some degree, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Those people that inspire us, you know.
So, being a writer, like, when was the point? Like, I'm sure, like, when you finished the story, the first person to read it was your husband, right? You showed him.
No, he's never read it.
Still never read it. Oh, that's why he didn't show up on the podcast.
He says he's going to read it, but he has not. Yep.
Oh my gosh,
that's funny.
Jeremy Horst has not read my book.
Okay. Well, but it's always like when you first create something, it's always that first person that you show. Like, I'd probably show Clayton something before, like, I would probably send it off into the internet or whatever. Who was the first person that
a couple of my coworkers who were good friends, and we were in a little book club together, and they seemed to like it. They gave me good feedback. Like, I gave them the actual handwritten original copy. I'm like, please don't lose or destroy this, you know. But yeah, they seemed to enjoy it. My only criticisms I've gotten is I put too much of myself into my stories, and they're like, you know, make it a little more abstract. But I've always just written what I know.
Yeah, well, the rest of the world won't know, you know, if it was you or what it was.
Right,
you know,
it seems kind of biased.
Yeah.
Friends out there, yeah. Like, how do you put? Like, how do they say that you put yourself into it? Like, just like.
Well, it's a little on the nose that the main character is a writer. She's an author, you know? Okay. And she goes on this cruise to get some writing done. You know, that's something I would love to do. I would love to go on a cruise and just, while you're at sea, you know, that would be a great time to reflect. And
I guess there's not many books and movies about writers because, right, it's, you know, it would be one of those things.
Well, it would be very dull. It would be like,
well, yeah,
like this
yeah,
for 2 hours.
I mean, because you can't have a character as a writer because they would think, oh, well, this person's creating their own book, but about themselves.
Here's a little fun fact.
Yes.
While I was writing the book, I did most of it at Barnes & Noble, and I would sit there, and if I had writer's block one day, like nothing was coming to me, I'd be like, for every page you write, you get a cookie the size of your face. Because they sell these gigantic cookies like this.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that was my like goal. I'd be like, all right, if I write a page, I get a cookie, you know. Never more than 2 cookies per day. I was like, I have some standards.
Yeah, Julie wrote 10 pages. 10
This book nearly killed me. Yeah.
Do you have to, that's a great question. Do you or have to be in a certain mood to be like creative? Because sometimes it's early in the morning, I get more like clear creative thoughts. I think at night I'm real tired, and so my mind's not like doing my ADD and speeding like it usually does. Is there certain like spots? So you said you go to Barnes and Noble. There's just certain spots you have to go to, isolate yourself to be able to.
It definitely helps to be somewhere not at home, because if I'm at home, I'm so distracted by everything that's going on. You know, I have a dog and a cat and a husband, and they make a lot of noise, and I'm like, I just cannot concentrate at all. But yeah, any unfamiliar environment helps. Like, it doesn't matter if there's other people and things going on, but as long as it's not my stuff, I can concentrate. But I'm the opposite of you. I'm a late night person.
Oh,
yeah, 2 or 3 a.m. is when I'm at my sharpest and I'm ready to go. And I have a lot of great ideas when I'm trying to fall asleep.
Oh, and you keep a pen and paper next to your bed to kind of like...
No, I just forget them all. I just lose all the good ideas. And I'm like, oh, I'll remember this. This is a good one. I'll have no problem. And the next day, poof, gone.
Well, Matt,
me too, yeah.
Matt's late nights are usually spent at my parties, you know, so that's why he's not very clear-headed, you know.
Right,
so.
at those parties, you're definitely not clear-headed with the drinking and everything else going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There have been some good ones.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're going to have more. So we just had this last one at the Sawmill and...
the Haunted Sawmill.
The Haunted Sawmill. And you know, speaking
he's going to do an encore thing, too,
yeah,
right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, still waiting to hear from Ellie about her crew being available on November 6th, tentatively, to do their short film there. And then we were going to have a party afterwards and maybe run the Johnson Sawmill again that evening. But the invite is to come. So we figured... it'd be a waste just to have the haunted night once, so we'll do it again. So
that's awesome.
I haven't been to the Sawmill yet. I haven't seen it.
Have you been to any of Clayton's properties and seen have you been to the place in Offhand?
Nope.
No, last spot was probably
He came to one of my parties, actually. He came to my Halloween party here in St. Anne.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah, last year.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Kind of right in the heart of COVID season. You know, we had our masks on.
Well, they had that
everything.
down period right there, like around, but then picked up again, I guess, in November or something.
We tried to be safe.
Yeah.
No one died.
Yeah,
so.
no, I mean, you know, had the finger foods. I mean, could have caught COVID right there.
Yep.
I mean, I did have it, not this past July, but a year before. So I don't know if you had it yourself. But.
No, I've managed to evade it.
Wow, holy cow.
Yep, and I work with the public, so it's surprising.
Wow. So the book is available. I'm going to cut to it on Amazon. So there's the cover right there, folks. Breathless, and then it's if you have a Kindle Unlimited, you can get it for $0. It's free. Okay, and then if it's $6 to buy it through Amazon here, is that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You get a paper copy or the digital, right? So yeah.
Okay.
I wanted a paper copy because I hadn't got my signed yet, so.
It'll happen.
I'll
happen
get the author
for sure.
to sign my book before the end of the day here.
I'll try not to write anything obnoxious in there.
Like writing in your friend's old high school yearbook,
Right. Sorry about the gonorrhea. Yeah, stuff like that.
Nice.
For the other inspiring writers out there, just kind of talk about the process. You said it was pretty easy to get this published and go through Amazon.
So easy. Kindle is who I went through. You just type up your manuscript online. You can use Microsoft Word or anything, and they help you format it for free. And it's so simple. They give you a little form to fill out for taxes, and they just instantly deposit the royalties into your bank account. You don't have to do any work at all.
What's the percentage that they take, if you don't mind me asking? So if you sell something, like what is it?
I can't remember offhand. I've sold roughly 20 copies, and I made $20. So
there you go.
There you go.
Okay,
Start.
there it is.
Do the math.
I thought it was pretty cool. Like I ordered the book, and then I got it, and then I had the date stamp just like a couple days before I received it. So like they literally printed it right out and then shipped it to me. So this was printed in Monee, Illinois.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if
that's how it works.
If it's the same place on the back of that book.
As it's bought. Okay.
I guess I don't know, but yeah, I got it within a couple days, and then I sat down and relaxed for a little bit, taking a break.
The book is fun. I can say that. I don't think it's the next great book. It's not a classic of American literature, but it's a good time.
They're not going to make a theme park at Universal Studios of this?
No one has reached out to me at this point.
Okay.
All the sexy mermen in it, too.
Now, is it...
There are ladies, there are mermen and merwomen.
I wish I would have got the link of the book, because I would have definitely... This is an easy book for Matt to read, because it's short. I would have read it, but is it... I don't want to give any spoilers, but could this be a series?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's definitely other romances going on in the book, like people who are interested in each other. And there's definitely room for sequels.
Okay. What's your favorite romance film of all time?
Oh, wow. Gosh.
I've got one on deck if he doesn't.
Okay. Go ahead.
The Fifth Element.
Oh, yeah.
I do like The Fifth Element. That's a good...
Yeah.
I can rewatch it endlessly. Never get tired of that.
But is that romance or is that science fiction comedy kind of like...
Well, this is spoilery, but it's like a 30-year-old movie or something. But love saves the day. Without love, nothing else would happen in that movie.
Yeah.
I like the storyline too, but Bruce Willis just seems so... I mean, I don't know.
He doesn't do it for you?
Doesn't do it.
Bruce Willis?
Too macho. Too macho. I mean, there wasn't enough sensitivity. It was like 5 minutes of sensitivity at the end when the whatever got together.
He's like, I love you. I guess.
Yeah,
whatever.
I got it. All right. I got to go kill some bad guys. So, yeah. Go ahead.
I like... Yeah, I'm going to sound like a weakling. I like Pretty Woman, I guess.
Pretty Woman.
Yeah,
oh, man.
Pretty Woman.
I was rewatching that one recently. It holds up to time.
Yeah. So...
No, it's a good one.
Yeah.
My movie I came up with it, and yes, it's another sci-fi, and maybe it's not really a romance, but I keep watching Eternal Sunshine for the Spotless Mind.
It is depressing as hell.
But the odd thing that I guess I love about it, like, I think people take it different ways, but at the end, they're like, we raced each other, we come through all this, but, hey, let's try this again and keep going, I don't know, it seemed optimistic. And
no, it is sweet.
Yeah, but they put each other through hell, but, in the end, I guess it was all worth it, and they probably enjoyed it, really, as sick as they were.
I like the ending.
Oh, yeah.
What's you had another one?
No.
Was it just?
Yeah, you and your Pretty Woman. I guess you're kind of the odd
I
man
know.
out
I
here,
sound like
so.
such a.
No, it's a classic romance story,
Yeah.
and it's got very romantic elements. Like, he comes charging up on the white horse, more or less, at the end, and it's great.
Right.
Wasn't he paying for her? Is that what it was?
Yeah,
like
she
I
was-
It started that way,
She's a hooker.
but then it got much deeper.
Now there is. I know a little bit of the backstory because there's something on like Netflix about it, but the original script was really dark.
Oh yeah,
And, like the one kid died at the end of AIDS or
dun,
something,
dun, dun.
and then like she ran off with the money or something. I don't know what happened, but it was real dark.
Not a happy
Or
end.
he threw the money at her and told her to get out of the car, and that was the ending.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's very real world.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's not-
No
yeah.
fantasy
So
involved.
I don't
in
know
that.
how they turned that story into what it was.
I can see why test audiences would be like, "Boo! Don't
Right.
like this.
I'm not
Right.
going to watch this again.
Is this a Stanley Kubrick movie? I don't like it."
Yeah, you got to go for sales. Yeah. Yeah.
Now-
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say Stanley Kubrick. Yeah, his
Dark.
movies. I mean,
No romance there though.
yeah, I mean,
Oh, Eyes Wide Shut.
the people
That's
that
the-
watch those a million times are the psychopaths you're worried about,
Yep.
So, I mean, I guess they pay a lot of money at the theater. But.
Right. Now, if somebody took your book, and would you be okay if they changed it and then made it all like kind of different? Like if you,
Yeah. I feel like it would be inevitable because a lot of the stuff in there would be super expensive. I mean, it's all underwater. There's palaces and things. So yeah,
they just use the Aquaman like CGI. They copy that over from that computer. They paste it on your movie, and then
I mean, if they used Aquaman as the main character, I guess that wouldn't suck. I guess Jason Momoa would be acceptable.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just kind of just take the people out and leave the background and stick them back
right,
in.
that's all they got to do. Yeah, it's all green screen anyway, so just use the same
Well,
background.
that'd be
sets.
interesting.
Yeah.
A whole nother movie based on the background of another movie.
Yeah.
But it has to have a happy ending. That's the key thing with romance novels. Nobody ends up lonely at the end. They have to ride off into the sunset in some fashion.
Well, they always have the romance movies that like they got to catch them at the airport before they leave, or it's
Right.
over. Like,
Conflict. That's the big conflict.
That's like the big third act, right? Yeah.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. That's another great romance movie.
I like that one.
It's really fun.
It's fun.
Goofy.
It's goofy. It's pretty good for a teen movie. Yeah, I like that one. Oh no, I'm thinking 10 Things I Hate About You. With
Oh,
you.
Yeah,
okay.
that was what's going
Yeah,
on.
but you're right.
I
How to
haven't
Lose a
seen
Guy
it
in
before.
10. That one's a good one too.
And it has one of those scenes at the end where he's like, they've got to catch each other before the plane.
Right. It's kind of hard. Who's in that?
Matthew
Sarah,
McConaughey.
and Sarah Jessica Parker, or is that a different one?
Who was
no,
it?
it's Kate Hudson.
Yes.
But it's like Sarah Jessica Parker's like she's been with like every guy, like, and if you look at all the movies, like she's been left with so she's been paired with like Hugh Grant, all these different people. So it's I don't know.
I don't get
All
that.
them love movies.
I'm like yeah. So same
Yeah.
with like Jennifer Aniston's like but it was a bunch of romance movies, but
Man, I missed a lot of those.
Yeah.
I was more into the sci-fi or whatever. Yeah.
well, when you have a girlfriend, you get stuck watching those types of movies. There's nothing
I
you can do
typically
about it.
watch him when Mr. Man is asleep,
That's
so I
she's-
don't have to torture him with it.
Right. Well, that's when she's watching them, and I'm trying to fall asleep, and I'm over here. No.
Sometimes he gets involved, though. He's like, what's going on right now? Why are they being stupid? And I'm like, well, her sister said this, and that's why they can't be together. I got to
Right.
fill in the important plot details.
My girlfriend watches Sex and the City, the movie, like every couple months.
Wow.
I'm like, oh my god, it's on again, and she watches it.
Is Mr. Big in that? I haven't seen the movie.
one. Yeah, she's going to marry Mr. Big. Yeah. So
Yeah. No.
yeah.
You're not familiar with?
No,
With Big?
I've missed so many TV shows and movies like that.
I bet you can guess why they call him that.
Mr. Big?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just,
romance.
It's
membrane.
Yeah.
Mr. Big.
So great. Well, this book is out, so definitely check it out here. I'm going to cut to it again on Amazon. And let's hear some stories about Clayton since we got
let's hear some dirt. I mean, the daily dirt with Dustin Diggs here, so.
One of Clayton's legendary parties at Henry Street. It was for my birthday. And we were all so hammered. And I said something about wanting a fountain. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, I'll build you a fountain. So he just starts going in the backyard. He has these pulleys set up and he's just like out of nowhere MacGyvered this ridiculous fountain so I could have a fountain on my birthday.
Found a sump pump. And
sweet.
We put it in the cistern and
it was not attractive, but it was functional.
Yeah, it was. It was the house that I was in at the time was like from like the 1880s, and so it was very. We weren't very modern with anything we did there around there. It was pretty basic.
We did some disrespectful things to that poor house.
Oh God! Yeah, the parties. I mean,
Henry Street.
Those people. I don't know where they're at, but there were so many parties there all the time. People talk about that place in different circles, and they look back on it fondly, I guess. But I was more of like just a innocent bystander getting run over in the situation. But I was the landlord. But no, it was fun.
I blame him for that. Because when I moved in, he's like, yeah, do whatever you want in here, just relax and do, he's like, write shit on the floor if you want. And I was like, oh, really? And I immediately got out a Sharpie and I'm like, shit.
that was
in a beautiful, elaborate script. But yeah, right. When you walk in the front door, it just says shit with an exclamation point on the floor.
And one of the tenants, he had a son who would come there like every other weekend or something. So we put a rug to cover that up.
Yes.
But I mean,
we don't want to traumatize the littles.
I just want to see Clayton's face when you wrote the shit.
I think he thought it was funny.
I was actually really intrigued. I mean, it wasn't one of those houses that you worry about things getting screwed up on. It was tough old house, and we were rough on it.
Did you ever get that off the floor?
Oh yeah, we finally sanded it. We sanded it, and we sealed the floor. Yeah. Because I mean, I wouldn't have if I know you sold it.
I'm like,
They would have been like, well, we got to redo this shit on the floor.
Bedazzle it.
Oh, there's C-Lab. Yeah. Sorry, I saw Julie's Facebook. So,
oh, yeah, we can hear a click on that.
I mean,
I have no secrets. My social media, anybody who wants to.
I have secrets because people message me while I'm on the podcast, and then they probably say stuff that they probably shouldn't, and it gets publicly broadcast. But
as you can see, Julie gets a lot of her material from the C-Lab series, Under the Water there. So, classics.
And she's a meat popsicle.
And I've got old Greg for my profile picture because it's the spooky season. The best time of year.
I actually have never seen anything about old Greg. Somebody forced me to watch a few minutes, but I totally missed that.
He's a great character.
I don't know.
Well, your attention span's like real. If you he actually watched my movies, and then he actually watched it from beginning to end. And so
cool.
I got him to sit down and actually, stay still and watch something.
Watch 3 of his features. 3 different DVDs.
I'd love to see him.
Yeah, I like being a part of this. I'm not probably really funny myself, but these guys are really hilarious sometimes. I thought, they could help me out with that.
And Clayton's such a great guy because he's so laid back. Have you pissed off Clayton? Because I haven't got the chance to piss off Clayton yet.
Oh, sure. We dated a couple times. Like, we've tried to live together a couple times. We have history, capital H.
Oh, we were in fist fights together, actually. Well, I was
juicy.
I think he punched me a few times. Yeah,
there was some shoving, some light shoving. That's all.
I remember one time we were in my sister's house upstairs, and I don't know, we got into it.
It was over laundry. That was.
It was so. And then, my sister's like, "What was going on?" We weren't sure to go up there or not because they didn't know if it was, some merman action or what.
Passion.
But it was actually a fight.
Throbbing,
it was a fight.
Throbbing stuff going on. Throbbing.
But yeah, I mean, I've known Julie a long time, and I mean, we're pretty good friends these days, so no more fights. And
nope.
he's
a good man.
Yeah.
Now, have you met Max?
Yes.
Now Max knows how to just get right under this skin real quick.
He's a professional.
Yeah, he's pretty good at getting.
I mean, I guess if I wanted to, I could, but I like to get along with Clayton. I don't want to get on the bad side.
There's a lot of perks being Clayton's friend. I'll tell you that. So he does a lot of nice things for people.
Well, he told me about this podcast. That's why I'm here.
Yeah. Did you think it was going to be? He was probably my friend in his basement. What did you think?
Well, I did a little research ahead of time.
Okay.
I was like, this could be iffy, but no, I was like, it seems legit.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you've watched some of his material and whatnot. So,
well, it's cool to have you on because we haven't had an author on here yet, so it's kind of neat to talk to a writer. So.
It's really fun for me to be here. I'm having a blast.
Yes. So more Clayton stories. What do you, his karaoke? Can you do karaoke like Clayton?
Yeah.
We've done a few times. Karaoke. It was way back in the early days. I mean, now I'm total junkie, but yeah, we used to sing around St. Charles County. Never other places like Florida. That was way back before I even thought I could do karaoke, since I was this poetry man. So,
when was the first time you did karaoke? How old were you?
Oh gosh, I can't say how old I was, but it was probably about 10 years ago, and it was in Hannibal, the Hannibal Inn, and it was Little River Band, the song "Lady." So I think I was with my cousin Wayne. So, but that was.
I have a good karaoke story. It's not Clayton related, but it's a good one.
That's fine. That's fine.
I went into a bar and somebody had chosen "Regulators," the Warren G song. It's a great rap song.
Yeah. Okay.
And they did maybe one verse and they just kind of gave up and put the mic down and walked away. And I went and picked up the mic and finished the song. And that was just a legendary moment for me. That felt so good. I was like, this is a beautiful song and you are screwing it up and I'm going to do it justice.
Well, the crowd, did they go, hey, hell yeah?
I think about 4 people were really into it.
Yeah, I can't sing. I'm tone deaf. That's why I'm so fast.
That's why rap is so great. You don't have to be a good singer to rap.
He's done a few rap songs in my presence. That was about it.
Gangster's Paradise. You'll see that one maybe, but
that's a good one.
A crowd favorite is Imagine Dragons' Radioactive, and I cannot sing, but if you stand on a table and jump on the table and jump on chairs.
Yeah, if you do it with passion, that's all that matters.
People love it.
You got to commit.
I was on a cruise. No mermaids were on it, but
as far as you know.
As far as I know, but I did that and had little drinks to me, a couple, just a few.
That's what it takes.
And I got a standing ovation.
Nice. That feels good.
But it was, because I'm so bad.
They're like, oh man,
bless you.
Yeah.
Right. You're like, thank God this guy's out
Bless your heart.
Get this guy back to his room.
I'm on a Boat. That's another good karaoke banger.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a classic.
The Lonely Island.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your go-tos are always?
Oh yeah, Julie might know this. One of mine's "Bad Romance," the Lady Gaga song. I don't know if you. I mean,
I never seen or heard you do that, but that's a good time.
Do a little acapella. Yeah. I don't want to get flagged from Facebook because you're so good. You're so good, but
I don't want to embarrass myself.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but
it's only 2:42, so yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah,
not even the chorus, isn't it? Like la la, ooh la la, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, change subject. Julie was actually I'm remembering now. She was did some acting in a movie or a few projects.
I was in a zombie movie. I was one of the zombie extras. That was a really good time.
Who did that and where was that at?
It's in Florida. There's a film school down there. The movie's called Automaton Transfusion, which is a terrible name for a movie.
I actually bought a copy of that, so
I don't have a copy. I would love to see that.
Oh, I would love just to see it, just because it's independently made.
Well, when you told me you were in the movie, and I saw this one day somewhere, I was like, psh.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
I very briefly lived in LA, and I told a couple people about that movie, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we've seen that." And I was like, "What?
Wow,
people have seen a movie?" And as a zombie, I was like, "How am I going to stand out from the other zombies?" So I went for somebody's kneecap.
They start chewing on their kneecap?
Yeah, because he was the producer or something, and he wanted to be in the movie. And they're like, okay, it's time for your death scene. We're just going to have these guys mob you. And I was like, I'm going to go for his knees. And I don't know. I still think you can't tell it's me, but it was a really good time. And all of our zombie makeup, we went to Wendy's afterwards, and we're just like going through the drive-thru going, brains. It was fun.
Oh, man, wow. I don't really like horror movies, but like...
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
But hear me out.
Goodbye.
But those are the best to film because like everybody is so like on board. Everybody feels like they're the star, even if they're just wearing makeup and they're standing in the background. So just the environment, the atmosphere is so much great to make a horror movie.
So fun.
It's fun. Yeah.
They just had a spray bottle full of blood and they lined us all up and they're like, you're a zombie now. That was it. It was great.
That was it?
Yep. Okay. Cost about $12 to make that movie, I think.
Oh, man, that's more than what it cost me to make mine. Yeah.
Well, I was watching one of the low-budget films of the Evil Dead series. They said that the first one is $150,000 to make, which is still a lot of money, but I guess that was back in early '80s, late '70s. But
I rewatched that recently.
Yeah, pretty
young
pretty
Bruce
primitive,
Campbell,
but it really, you love it. You know, it doesn't have to be high budget. You know,
that tree rapey scene is very. That has always stuck with me. Like I watched that movie when I was really young, and I was like, now I'm scared of trees.
Mm-hmm.
It's intense.
Poltergeist, yeah.
You ever seen like trauma films, like
Toxic
Avenger? Yeah, those are fun to watch. Trauma.
Yeah, no,
it's like the Toxic Avenger. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
So the company that made that, they make a bunch of like just really bad B movies, but they're
Asylum. But they make a lot of terrible movies, which I love.
Yeah, yeah. So I like bad movies.
Oh yeah, I'm an aficionado of those. Birdemic is, I think, the worst thing I've ever seen.
Birdemic.
Yeah. It makes no sense at all.
It doesn't.
Can I spoil Birdemic?
Yeah, you can.
For your listeners.
Yeah.
The birds that are attacking people at the end, they just quit. They just leave. Like there's no explanation. They're just done, I guess. They fly away. They're like, we've killed enough people, I guess.
They had to move on to kill other people.
I guess.
Off the movie.
It's just the worst.
I'll have to watch that one now.
Oh, you're going to be mad. You're going to be like, I can't get that hour and a half of my life back. It's gone forever.
Do you think some of those horror movies are actually written out, or do you think they just say, okay, let's get these people together. We're just going to scene here. You go over there. And what do you want to do? Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, do that.
I don't know how they happen. Like, I've worked with some directors before that didn't seem to have any clear goal in mind. They're like, I want you in this scene, I want you to be sexy but innocent at the same time, and I want you to make out but act like you're not into it. And I'm like, what does this have to do with ghosts? You know, like sometimes the directors seem to have no vision at all.
And the director's like, here, let me here, I'll show you what I mean here, lady. Come over here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I
worked with a director who spoke very little English, and I didn't know what he wanted the whole time. You know, I just did my best.
I guess
but it's fun.
You were in a number of different projects then.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
I've been in a musical. I was in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. I was Peppermint Patty in that. That was really fun.
I could see that.
So definitely, Julie sounds like she's good material for doing some of the comedy. You know,
she pitched it to me and she sold me already.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
I think I've always thought Clayton should do some acting because he's got the chiseled face, you know.
He does have a chiseled face.
When he shaves, he cleans up nice.
There is a project we filmed together, and Clayton bullied me and beat me up, and it's going to be coming out soon.
Sounds
we filmed it a couple months ago.
Yeah.
I
remember in my basement, Club Clay.
Yeah, he was. I was a bouncer, and he bullied me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
I said all kinds of nasty. Third grade mean things that come to my brain.
Yeah, the director's like, well, just improv some insults, and then man, he was going for some low blows on me on that one.
Yeah, I think he was truly traumatized.
He was talking about my lopsided head and you know,
rude,
and his
my big nostrils and all kinds of stuff. He was going deep.
We suffer for our art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to read the book.
I hope you enjoy it. I hope you
100%,
have
yeah.
a few giggles
I will.
and or tingly bits.
Yeah. And we'll definitely have you come back on. Sometimes we do a podcast where it's just kind of fun and we're having some drinks and we're just kind of hanging out, just talking about current events.
I would be down for that. Totally.
I don't know any current events right now. We'll just do a little. What's a current event that's going on right now?
Oh man,
I got one close to my heart.
yeah.
What's that?
Dave Chappelle's special, The Closer on Netflix.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, there's a big controversy with that. He talks a lot about the gay community. And, I mean, I've always been a Dave Chappelle fan. He's a funny guy, I can't lie. His early stuff cracked me up so hard. But I feel like he's just a grumpy old rich man now. And he can't take a joke anymore. He's talking shit about this comedian, Hannah Gadsby, who has nothing to do with him at all. You know, I just don't really appreciate what he's doing now.
Well, that's what happens sometimes when we get older. We get old, just grumpy, and then it's like time to get these people out of here. Let some newer.
It's like, all right, Grandpa, off to the nursing home for you.
I think
just go roll around in your money, and
I think some of that shit's planned out though, because I think he knew, and Netflix knew when they going into it what it was going to do.
He's getting a lot of attention,
right? And it's the biggest viewed thing on Netflix right now. So,
yeah, you got to be controversial.
But
right?
I feel like I think people are too sensitive when it comes to comedy these days too. So, but
you can be funny and not hurt people.
Yeah,
I'm a big George Carlin fan. You know, even in his older years, he had a lot to say, and it still holds up to time, I think.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't. Oh, go ahead.
Well, you used to be able to say that about Bill Cosby. But now we know his comedy does
bad.
hurt.
Well, here's the
Because his comedy was no cuss words, and it was always very family friendly. But we found out, off stage he wasn't very family friendly.
Well,
so
I know, but my thing is like, okay, I still can appreciate the comedy of Bill Cosby. I can still appreciate Michael Jackson's music, even though he's most likely probably a pedophile. I don't want to start any controversy, but anyway,
I wasn't there. I don't know.
Right, but I think you can still look at the art and not the artist, I guess.
Yeah, you have to separate those two things, because otherwise everybody's going to let you down at some point. You know, like I love Jim Gaffigan. He's the clean comedian, but any day now there's going to be a big Jim Gaffigan scandal. It's going to break.
Really?
Yeah,
you heard it here first.
Wow.
Like the Louis C.K. What did he do? He something like
he's like, I'm famous. Want to look at my dick?
Right.
Not really, but I'm your intern and I like this job.
Right. I mean, but you'd probably want to look at a famous person's dick, though. I mean, it's,
just for science.
I mean,
just for reference.
The problem is if you get a picture of it, you got to get the face in there too. So you
can't prove it. That could just be some plumber.
Yeah.
I mean, so in order to get money for that photo, you got to get a.
I mean, if Nelly came to me and he's like,
you want it?
You want to see my dick? I'd be like, well,
I think that's one of his songs, actually.
Sure. Be like,
a few rap songs.
Be like, show me that country grammar. Go ahead.
There's probably some jewelry on it somewhere.
At least the Band-Aid. Right? That's probably where the Band-Aid.
Adorable. That's where it went.
That's where it went, yeah.
Awful.
All right, now we just lost our audience.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I really liked you, but now you're talking bad about Nelly, which I wouldn't talk bad about Nelly. But
no.
Yeah.
He's beloved.
Yeah. St. Louis royalty right there. So, cool. All right, one more time, folks. So the book, definitely buy it. It's $6. Okay. Clay, what are you going to buy? What? $6. I mean, you can spend $6.
Oh yeah,
right?
A complicated drink at Starbucks.
Yeah, I mean that's where I start at karaoke. When I get pumped up to sing. So yeah, exactly. No, it's a fun read. Julie's my friend, so I want to get the word out about her talents, and hopefully she'll have some more published here soon.
But even if she wasn't your friend, would you still say this is a good book?
It is very entertaining. It is very. She has a good way with words to entertain folks, and I think her writing should get out more. Whether it's books or maybe even writing some scripts. Maybe she can write some scripts or something for some live STL.
So if you buy the book and you don't like the book, Clayton says he will send you the money personally.
Yes,
his own
I will.
He's a good
I will
guy.
buy the copy back from you because one day the value of this will go up even more. So it's an asset. So
there we go. So. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast, and we'll get you back.
Thank you for having me. I had so much fun. This is a real treat.
Yeah. So definitely check out the Daily Dirt with Dustin Diggs on YouTube, like the Irish United Network on Facebook, and we are out. And
go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. Countdown, levitate. Going up, elevate. Watch me demonstrate. On time, never late. I grind, celebrate. No pump, fake, hesitate. I've been scoring every day. Champagne Perrier. Since 9-3, been in the box, now I'm stepping up to home. Like straight out the sandlot, now I'm plotting on the globe. Go beast. 420 brand clothing.